Last year, China started bullying Lithuania over Taiwan and the EU started hitting back at China. It seemed that the days of the one China policy were over, but now things have changed. The EU is facing a lot of economic pressure amidst the Russia-Ukraine crisis. So it is trying to placate China, and China is using this opportunity to force the EU to impose the one China policy on Europe. Hi and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Tejasvi Malhotra, and in this video I will explain how the EU is changing its China policy after realizing the hard way that lies ahead. Let's begin. Antagonizing Russia in midst of a geopolitical tussle with China wasn't a good idea after all for the West. At present, the EU is getting to know the hard way as it wants to improve its relationship with Beijing, while the latter wants the EU to endorse the One China policy first. The European Union has decided to hold a summit with China on April 1. European Commission Vice President and EU Trade Chief Valdis Dombrovskis disclosed that the object of the upcoming summit is to diffuse tensions between Brussels and Beijing. Dombrovskis said, "We know we are in a complicated phase of relations with China." He referred to an investment agreement with Beijing that got stalled after Beijing imposed sanctions on some members of the parliament and escalating tensions between the two sides after Lithuania allowed Taiwan to open a de facto embassy in Vilnius. The European Commission Vice President said it is clear that some of those topics need to be addressed at the highest political level to see to what extent we can align and improve our cooperation. Not too long ago, the EU was ready to fight a trade war with China as Beijing started bullying Lithuania. But now it suddenly wants to talk things out with the paper dragon and resume economic cooperation. Why is it changing its China policy all over again? It is certainly not, because China all of a sudden started behaving like a civilized power. So what changed? Well, as you know, Russia is at war with Ukraine, and the West cannot resist its surge of indulging in moral policing. It is sanctioning the Russian economy left, right, and center, but this is ultimately going to harm the EU itself since Russia is a top oil and gas producer and the energy prices have already started surging high. Brent crude approached $120 on Thursday as traders shunned Russian oil. JP Morgan says Brent crude could hit $185 a barrel by the end of the year if the Russian supply remains disrupted. And natural gas is an even bigger headache for the EU. Europe depends for almost 40% of its gas consumption on Russia. Following the Russia-Ukraine war, gas prices in Europe doubled in just a week and reached 204.32 per megawatt hour. On Thursday, prices were trading at an all-time high of $221 per megawatt hour. So energy is becoming more expensive in Europe. Transportation cost and overall inflation are likely to go up too. Eurozone inflation has already hit a record high of 5.8%. The EU at present lacks the metal to impose tough tariffs on Chinese goods. China knows that the EU is in a tight spot and is trying to iron out bilateral differences. So it is now making it a point to force the EU into following the One China policy. Consider what the Chinese State Councillor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi had to say last month. During a telephonic conversation with Josep Borrell, the EU's High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Yi said that the EU should ask Lithuania to return to the One China principle. Yi said that Lithuania's Taiwan issue has got nothing to do with Europe, but only between China and Lithuania. He also said that the concern was political and not anything to go with the trade. Through this, China is telling the EU that if you want cheap Chinese goods to bring down Eurozone inflation, you will have to strong-arm Lithuania and ask it to adopt the One China policy. The One China policy was getting diluted amidst the China-Lithuania tussle over Taiwan. But Beijing saw just the right opportunity and is now forcing the EU to accept it all over again.